All right, hey, I'm Dan.
And I'm Carolyn.
And we're at Bikers, Byways, and Highways. And this video is the third in a series about, do you need a home RV base to go to when you're not traveling?
The road ahead, it twists and turns, and the sun beats down and it burns. But I keep on pushing through.
So this is a 2021 update. It's actually July, almost August. And we're gonna give you some information. We had a lot of questions in the first two videos. We thought we would tell you the questions and give you the responses we gave. All right, question number one we got was, what are the annual costs and monthly costs of having this RV home base? And for us, I need to supersede this with, we don't have a mortgage on the land or on the building, so that is not in the equation. We're just gonna tell you the true cost of what it costs to live.
And we're fortunate for that to happen.
Yep.
We're very fortunate.
So, first thing to cover is electric. Electric's not much, because all we have is the RV, and a little bit of power going into the shop. We don't have our office yet there, so it doesn't take a lot of power or anything to heat it or cool it. And that's roughly on average $89 a month. Now, during that time frame, in the winter, it drops down to 40 or 30 a month, and in the summer, it's as high as 150 a month. Yes. I think, in the real hot part of the summer. So
but we're just going by the average.
Yep.
89.
Water for here, same thing. We just have the rig. There's no water in the building. So the average monthly on that is $30 a month. Mm-hmm. It's been as low as $15 to $20 when we're on the road and our daughter may come by and water the garden or wash something. They may ride the four-wheelers and then clean them off, so that's how it's so low. And then as high as in the summer, it's been as high as $50, which is a lot better than a house.
Yes.
A lot cheaper. The other thing is, we don't have any natural gas usage right now. They did put in a natural gas line since we taped our last video, and we're probably going to use that in the office and eventually the house to heat.
Definitely when we build the house.
And cook stuff, yeah. So that'll be, it won't be that much, but right now we have zero costs on that. All right, as far as monthly annual fees for sewer, city sewer, or trash pick or that, we don't have any. We're in the country, this is septic, so it costs us nothing but buying Rid-X once in a while, a couple bucks here and there. And trash, we have no trash pickup. You know, we're full-time RVers, we drop it off at trash cans at different places we travel, so there's no cost there.
No.
The other thing, the insurance for the building, the RV cover, and our tractor, which we have here, that's part of maintenance. I got a bush hog here once in a while. Is not bad. That's only $889 a year for everything, and that insures it for complete replacement cost, including the tractor, which comes down to about $74 a month when you break it down. So compared to a lot of places, that's pretty cheap.
That's really cheap.
Yes. County and state taxes, we only pay $396 a year. So that breaks down to $35 a month, and that's all we pay.
But we are out in the county, we are not in the city.
Right, and there's no city taxes, so that's why it's so inexpensive. Phone and internet service, I don't include that in here because we've already got that with our full-time RVing. So when we leave here, there's no phone or internet service here at all, so that's not included in the monthly fees. So what it comes down to, when we're gone and we're not here, the only upkeep cost is $137 a month to have this piece of property and all of our stuff on it. Now when we're here, on average, because we're here for a whole year because of COVID, and we got all the numbers, that's where we extracted all this information from, it's only $226 a month for upkeep on this place.
That's amazing.
All right, the only other thing is I have maintenance on the property. We don't have any snow here per se that doesn't melt within 24 hours to a couple days, so there's no snow removal, no shoveling, nothing to do with that.
Except for last year.
Yeah, but we didn't have to remove any.
That was a very unusual winter.
Yep, so there's no maintenance with all that. And we have pretty good temperate seasons. It does get hot and humid in the summer. It can get cold in the winter, but the falls, the springs, it's really nice weather actually. So there's not a lot of worry about that. So the one thing I do have to do though is, since it's fairly raw land behind us here, is I do have to bush hog only twice a year. The rest of the year it doesn't grow. So roughly every June and every September, I have to bush hog roughly 16 acres of land. And with that, it takes about 4 days, 5 gallons of diesel a day, figure $2.80 a gallon, which is $56 for each mowing. Times 2, it's $112 just in diesel costs. Now, you can figure in depreciation, whatever you're on the tractor. I don't. And then you have my labor time. So I'm free.
And I like to do it once in a while too.
Yeah,
I'm free.
She gets out there and she mows too.
I can run the tractor.
Yep. So that's our only maintenance we have on the place. Once in a while, a tree may fall. We gotta cut it or we don't, depending on where it's at, and use it for firewood. Then while we're gone from roughly, if we're gone in May through September, we may have someone, if we're not here, because we do come back through the area, we may have our son-in-law or one of the grandkids come over and mow the yard. So that may cost me $50, $60 a year at the most, just for gas and the such. So there's not a lot of upkeep. That's the way we like it. We don't want to have a lot of maintenance upkeep.
Our son-in-law loves to drive the tractor.
He gets his quiet time. Another question we get is, what's the RV car registration, insurance, and all that on the vehicles here in Tennessee? And they're really good. Our insurance for the fifth wheel trailer, the Ram 2018, CAROLYN'S 2010 Terrain, and the Harley Davidson of 2012 Road Glide Ultra, the total insurance for the year is $1,753, which you break that down, it's only $146 a month. So we're pretty satisfied with that compared to other places we live, like Chicago, LA,
San Francisco,
which are in the thousands of dollars per vehicle. So that's a big benefit of being here in West Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Okay, our vehicle registrations are really, really low. Okay, the fifth wheel trailer per year is $19.75. The Dodge Ram is $79.75. Let's see, my Terrain is $79.75, and the Harley, the 2012 Harley, is $38.76. That's the registration for the vehicles per year, giving you a total of $218.01.
Yep. That's pretty damn good. That's about, for one vehicle, some places we live, that's not even half or a fourth of what we paid for registration. So that's another reason why we like it here in Tennessee. All right, the other question I get a lot of is the actual building costs. I want to make sure and frame this. So we built this in the fall of 2019 and the winter of 2020, during the pre-COVID, during COVID. So prices were a lot less then.
Yes.
We didn't have inflation, so things were going pretty good. So the prices we're telling you now is definitely the low point. You're probably gonna pay a lot more, even if we did this again right now. So the land improvements were only $3,000, which was the grading of the driveway, the pad here for the building, and the RV pad, and putting in the septic tank. That included all that money. RV cover, $3,000. It's all metal. There are no end pieces or side pieces, that way the wind won't pick it up and carry it off. Utilities is about $1,000, give or take. Cement pad was about $7,000 for the building, and it's a 40 by 42 foot cement pad. The building itself is all metal, insulated with girders. It's a commercial grade building. It's $54,000 total. And again, that's 40 by 42 insulated. 10 foot by roughly 40 feet out here on the patios, not insulated, but the roof is, but obviously the sides aren't. We could always enclose it in later, but we just like it the way it is right now. So that gives you an idea. So that's a total of $68,000. And again, that was back fall 2019 and January 2020. Your site, wherever you're at, whoever's doing the building, it's probably be more.
A lot different now.
But that gives you a guideline of what we had to go to try to negotiate for and see what you do. Okay, the other question we get a lot of is, where should I buy? And I think our answer for that is, it's the best place for you.
Just personal preference.
Yep, and the location you want to be, near family, near things, geographically, weather-wise, and the size, depending on what you want to get. What can you afford? Do you want to have a lot, have a mortgage, not a mortgage, just a small space, postage size. It's up to you. Everybody's different, so you have to decide that. The other is be wary of the following. Okay, and we said this before, but I'll say it again because recently we've seen a lot of RVers who are trying to do what we're doing, and they're posting YouTubes where they have easements to the property or through their property.
And they have been blocked from getting to their property
Yep.
because they didn't have the rights to get back there.
Yep, so they didn't buy. They went all the way through, including putting it down deposit and get ready to sign the contracts.
Yes.
Weren't able to do it. So always make sure you don't have any easements, or if you do, you know what is involved with that.
Exactly.
All right. Be curious along river fronts. There's a lot of ads out there right now, including here in Tennessee, that have riverfront RV plots.
Buy an acre on the river.
Yep. Be careful. We've been here a long time. A lot of these places we've seen have been 15, 20 feet underwater in certain winters when it floods.
Yes.
So be very wary of that. Not to say every one of them's bad, but be very careful because it does happen. The other is, if in an RV community, check out covenants for obvious and or hidden costs, because they could be charging you maintenance fees that may start out small, could go up high. You may get charged for something that you don't even use.
Road improvements,
Yeah.
community center improvements, they add up really, really quickly.
And if you're not there but 1 month out of the year, you're paying for 12 months. That's not too good. So be careful and consider what you want, and it may be what you want. You want to have those kind of things, but always look at those.
Please make sure that you use a realtor, a reputable realtor. We've seen some people that have not used realtors, and they have had nothing but problems. They can get information on the ins and outs of the property and the local information. They have access to a lot of good information.
And there's a lot of laws in place where they have to disclose, when you use a realtor, they've got to disclose things. They just can't not tell you about something.
Yes.
And it'll save you a lot of heartache, believe me. The other thing, city and county ordinances. Some of them don't allow part-time or full-time RVs on a piece of property. We've had a lot of people call us about that, on how we did what we did, because they're running into that where they may be trying to buy something.
Yes, there's different areas that we did look at, but the ordinances were such that we couldn't do what we're doing right now.
Right. So we're allowed to. We're not full-time living in here. They gave us the county we're okay because of COVID, obviously, but normally they know we're not here all the time. So it's fine. If we were here full-time, 100%, we would have to have a house, which is what we plan to eventually build. But yeah, make sure and check those out, because you could have a problem.
One question that we've been asked is about tornadoes and high winds, since we are living in the deep south. There are tornadoes and we do get a lot of wind, but I'll let Dan take it from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here's some things what we did that would help that you want to consider. The RV cover is 45 by 20. It's all steel, not wood. And it doesn't have any caps on the end roof or on the sides. There's no siding. The reason we did that was a lot of places that do that, that's where the wind catches and picks stuff up and will tear them out of the ground.
Just blow away.
Yep, literally. We've seen it.
Not good.
No. The other is the sides, it's bolted in every 5 feet. It's in a bolt into a full length, 45-foot long cement concrete anchor on both sides of that whole RV cover. So that's a lot of weight to pull up. It would take a pretty significant tornado to do that. You know, tornadoes are going to take most anything anyways. But for average stuff, it would keep it safe. And we've been in some pretty good winds.
Yes, we have.
We've had 40, 50, even plus 60 mile an hour sustained winds in some of these storms, and gusts of 70 to 80. And our daughters always call us, "You guys okay? You're okay?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, we're fine, because and this is the reason I didn't put this RV in a pull-through. I had to do a backup the way the land is. The front of my rig faces the west, and that's where most of our weather comes here in West Tennessee. It's from the west, moving east, southeast. Once in a while out of the south, but not that much. So it's already pointing forward with the front of the cone of the RV.
Into the wind.
Now you got to remember, you're going down the road 60, 65, 70, and it's fine. You're doing that all the time. So it's not going to be a problem for the rig at all.
No.
We've had no problems with wind. If there's a tornado, now we don't have a tornado basement or closet or whatever they call it right now. However, during a tornado, we can actually use the Baptist church next door to us. They have a big basement, cellar, tornado area.
And they open the basement for the whole community to come in if there is a tornado.
All right, this building is constructed to handle up to 115 to 130 mile an hour sustained winds. The way they built it, the bracing and everything else. So that's pretty much into a very heavy storm, maybe an F1, before it'd be a problem. So, and again, it's bolted down quite a few areas in the beams into the cement and everything else. So it'll take a lot of wind. And smaller tornadoes, I believe. I don't want to push it, but
we may lose some siding.
Yeah, that's
we may
fine.
lose some siding, but that's replaceable.
Yeah. All right, another question we get about the building and the facility here is, what about heating and cooling for this place? Right now, we're living in the RV. Because of COVID, like we explained in our prior video, we have an office area / it could be used as a mini apartment if we needed to. But we weren't able to finish it. Now we plan to get it done once all this crazy inflation and prices and everything being out of stock gets over with. But once we have that done, that's all we're going to be heating and cooling when we're here. When we're not here, we shut down the AC, we shut off the heat, or at least turn the heat down so it doesn't freeze if it ever got that cold in the winter. There are no costs right now, but if we did, it would be very minimal. It'd be like having a 30-foot long by 10-foot wide, 9-foot ceiling apartment. Very small, very minimal. So it wouldn't be much. But right now, we're not heating and cooling it. It's just a garage with our stuff in it.
Well, we will get it done when, you know, lumber's not so high and things are more accessible for supplies.
Another question we get, I kind of laugh about a bit, but it's a serious question because some people may want to do this, and that is, have you considered renting out your property and your facility to numerous RVers to rent when you're not there? And we thought about that, but our answer is no. We don't want to have the hassles. Other people, it's fine. If we really wanted to have a campground, we would have bought some place to build a campground, but we don't want that. It's here for us to enjoy while we're here. When we're not here, the kids may come out and use four-wheelers, do whatever they want, but that's the extent of it. So there's no upkeep, there's no hassles, I don't got to worry about anything. Don't have to carry insurance, all that stuff. So no, it's just for us right now. So this is an important question. We get a lot of discussions on this by the RV community, and that's, what about security?
Well, all the doors have locks on them. All the windows have locks on them. And we have installed solar lighting all the way around the outside of the building. So it will, it's motion censored, so if somebody comes along, the lights will go off.
And it helps us out too. One thing Carol likes about it is when we get here, if it's after hours, dark, especially wintertime, the one on the side turns on so we can see where we're going as we're backing up the rig, so that does help. The other is, I mentioned in the other video, I do have game cameras posted throughout the property here to keep an eye out for animals. We like animals. And to make sure we don't have anybody here that shouldn't be. We've actually had a few people come here that shouldn't have been riding four-wheelers, and I said something to them and they haven't been back. So it just kind of helps make sure everybody's honest and keeps off your property that shouldn't be there. And you have a little bit of a security knowing it's, you know what's going on.
Yes.
The other is neighborhood. Get to know your neighbors. Our neighbors keep an eye out for them. We tell them where we're going when we'll be back. The sheriff around here, he's down the street. He keeps an eye out on the place. And we watch out for each other. So make sure and do that. Watch out for your neighbors when you're there and have them keep an eye out for you, and give them your cell phone number. Let them know your kids' number. Like, our kids aren't far away from here. They know them, they've met them. So if something happens, they get a hold of them right away. And when they come here to ride the four-wheelers, they know they're not trespassing. Yeah. It's our kids, so it's a good thing to do. The other thing is we do, in fact, when we're traveling, not only when we're here, I have the blink system on our RV, which it actually has sensors on it. It can do night or day. I have one in my inside of my RV and some on the outside, and I can program to how sensitive they are. And if someone comes up after I've activated, and you have to have internet access obviously in my phone, it'll actually tell you if someone is in the area. And I've seen it, guys are making Amazon deliveries, or a truck pulls up to use my driveway it shouldn't be, or one time
big trucks just driving by.
Yeah, sometimes they'll set them off, but it's nice to know, and I get instantaneous update on what's going on. So that's another added security we use. All right, so last question we always get is, why did you build so close to the road?
Well, for me, it's because of this beautiful view that we have right here. You can't beat this. We're sitting on the patio, We can look right out there and just enjoy the show.
From my perspective, water, gas, electric, and internet, cables and everything, the mains are all located along the road up front. So the farther you are away from those, the more expensive it gets to run piping, cable, copper, the lines for the cable. It's expensive, and they charge you by the foot. Believe me, they charge you. So we're up close. We're not that close. We're off a ways. And also, we'll eventually have our house over here on the other side. Kind of the same thing, but it's tucked in within the trees over there, so it doesn't feel like you're so close. And we'll be facing out into the forest.
Yeah, and it'll be much farther back from the road.
All right, so we're out here by Carolyn's flower garden shanty plant here.
It's a butterfly garden.
Yeah, it's huge. It's probably 10, 15 foot wide by about, you can't see all of it because it's behind you too, but it's probably a good 50, 60 feet long. And she planted hundreds of different types of flowers out here. And they came up while we were gone on a trip. So it's turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
So we hope that you've enjoyed everything we've talked about, reviewing all the questions we had from everybody and giving you some more information about what we did here. And if you like what we're doing,
please subscribe right there. Hit on the button and the bell.
Ring the bell so you get updated whenever we have a new video. And Carolyn always likes to tell everybody,
we'll take you there.
And every step quicker than the last, my feet tread down this beaten path, and I keep on pushing through, 'cause I get up